We already pay the highest taxes in the country. We already have massive, bloated, bureaucratic government spending. They've doubled the budget of the state of California in the last 10 years. Is everything twice as good? No, it's all worse.
America, California just passed 800 new laws in 2025 that will take effect on January 1st, 2026. And I need you to understand what's really happening here. Sacramento doubled the state budget in the last 10 years. That's twice as much taxpayer money flowing through the system. And according to Silicon Valley's wealthiest residents who are now fleeing the state, everything has gotten worse. Crime is up. Homelessness is up, roads are crumbling, power grids are failing, fire departments can't respond to emergencies. But here's what Sacramento focused on instead: banning plastic bags for the second time, because the first ban doubled plastic waste, forcing landlords to provide refrigerators, mandating folic acid in tortillas, and requiring food delivery apps to give full refunds for wrong orders. The level of logic here we're dealing with in California is insane.
Starting January 1st, plastic bags of any kind will be banned at California stores.
What is up, guys? TYSON DELACRUZ here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I'm going to break down these 2026 laws and show you exactly how disconnected Sacramento is from the actual crises destroying California. This isn't just bad policies. This is a government that would rather control what bags you use at the grocery store than solve violent crime, organized retail theft, homelessness, drug addiction, expensive gasoline and utility bills, housing shortages, and dilapidating roads on highways. Let's start with the most California thing imaginable: banning plastic bags for the second time, because the first ban made the problem twice as bad. Starting January 1st, 2026, plastic bags of any kind will be banned at California stores. No single-use plastic, no reusable plastic, just paper bags that stores can charge you 10 cents for, or you bring your own bag. This assemblywoman who authorized the new law admitted that the first partial ban that they allowed reusable plastic bags resulted in plastic bag waste doubling, not decreasing. So Sacramento's brilliant, absolutely brilliant solution is to try the same thing again, but with more restrictions.
I think it's a good move. Plastic is a pretty big problem.
It's probably slightly inconvenient for us.
It comes after a partial ban that allowed reusable plastic bags essentially backfire.
And that resulted in plastic bag waste doubling. So basically we wanted to address that.
Under the new law, you can bring your own bag, or stores can use paper bags and charge you 10 cents.
If they decide to go back to paper bags, hey, that's trees, man.
One resident nailed the absurdity here. If you decide to go back to paper bags, hey man, that's the trees. Because here's the hypocrisy nobody in Sacramento wants to address. They sell you bread in plastic, meat wrapped in plastic, cheese in plastic, milk mostly in plastic containers, but no plastic bags. You can buy a gallon of milk in a plastic jug, but God forbid you carry it home in a plastic bag. And while California obsesses over plastic bags, organized retail theft is destroying businesses across the state. Flash mobs walking out with thousands of dollars in merchandise because Prop 47 made theft under $950 a misdemeanor. Still no solutions for violent crime, group robberies, homelessness, drug addiction, expensive gasoline and utility bills, housing shortages, or dilapidated roads or highways. Looks like they missed the part about homelessness, crime, drug use, and corruption. Maybe that'll be the next bill passing. Now, let me give you context why these 800 new laws actually matter. Silicon Valley's wealthiest residents are threatening to leave California, which I think they should, over proposed state wealth tax that would impose a one-time 5% tax on residents worth more than $1 billion.
The last time they did this, they said there'd be they had put an extra band of income tax on for high earners. They said it was temporary. They've just re-extended it for another 10 years. It never goes away because they're addicted to tax and spending.
And most of the money goes to unions in the form of pensions to make up for shady dealings. The wealth tax would require residents to report their total net worth. We're talking about property, investment, businesses, everything. So the state can tax overall wealth, not just income. And if passed, it applies retroactively to anyone who lived in California as of January 1st, 2026. So if you're a billionaire watching California's decline while paying the highest taxes in the country, what do? You leave or you create shell companies. Now let's talk about Assembly Bill 628 that requires rental properties to have a stove and refrigerator. Current law already requires working heating and hot water. Now landlords also have to provide a stove safe for cooking and a refrigerator safe for food storage, which I thought was already mandatory. If either is recalled, landlords must repair or replace it within 30 days.
Actually helpful because a lot of people, whenever they first move into a home, they're not able to be provided with like a stove or a fridge. And then sometimes, as well as every year, the rent is being increased. So it's kind of like compensation.
But here's the economic reality that California lawmakers refuse to acknowledge. Every mandate you place on landlords increases the cost of providing housing, which gets passed down to the renter through higher rents.
You have the taxes, you have the insurance, the mortgage, and the maintenance. There will be some owners, it's going to put a financial strain on them as far as putting in a new or used refrigerator.
California has a massive housing shortage. Rents are sky high. Homelessness is out of control. Honestly, if you're renting out a property, you should be providing a stove and a refrigerator in the first place. But if you want more affordable housing, you need to make it easier and cheaper to provide housing, not harder and more expensive. But California would rather regulate, aka mandate, refrigerators and stoves. This, my friends, should be the landlord's responsibility to provide tangible living conditions. Here's where California's disconnect from reality really gets interesting.
Lawmakers are going to get a lot of credit for this one.
In 2026, food delivery apps must give full refunds for incorrect orders and offer human customer service.
That's pretty intense for businesses, like a full refund. At the same time, if you didn't get what you paid for, it makes sense to get some kind of compensation back.
On the surface, it sounds consumer friendly. If you order a burger and you get a salad, you should get your money back. But here's what's going to happen. People are going to abuse the heck out of DoorDash refund ordering. Mark my words here, California residents, you're going to see people ordering food, eating most of it, then claiming it was wrong to get a full refund. The law requires full refunds, not partial refunds, not credits, full refunds. And it mandates human customer service, which means these apps have to hire actual people instead of automated systems. This drives up costs, which will be passed down to the consumer through higher fees and prices. This is classic California. Pass a law that sounds great for consumers without thinking through the unintended consequences. Small restaurants that rely on delivery apps are going to get hammered by fraudulent refund claims. Delivery apps will raise fees to cover the cost, and ultimately, honest customers will pay more because of people gaming the system. Still, no solution to violent crime, group robberies, homelessness, drug addiction, expensive gasoline, the utility bills, housing shortages, or dilapidated roads. But hey, at least you can get a full refund when your DoorDash order is wrong. By July 1st, 2026, California public schools must enact policies limiting or banning student phone use during the particular school day. And families are deeply divided on this.
The phone's fine to keep in touch with them after and before school, but I think it's taking away from their focus.
I think it's very important for kids to be able to communicate with their parents in emergency situations.
Both sides have valid points. Yes, phones are distracting in the classroom, but in the era of school shootings and emergencies, parents want to reach out to their kids. The problem is California's solution is a one-size-fits-all mandate that doesn't account for different school environments or parental preferences. Sacramento apparently knows better than the parents.
Also in schools, new laws cracking down on anti-Semitism and barring ICE agents from campuses without a warrant.
So federal immigration enforcement needs a warrant to enter a school, but the state can mandate what your students do with their personal property. The priorities are crystal clear. California will protect illegal immigrants from federal law enforcement while controlling students' access to their own phone. Meanwhile, California schools are still struggling with basic literacy and math proficiency, but at least they've got their priorities straight. No phones, no ICE, and definitely no plastic bags. While Sacramento passes 800 laws about plastic bags and phone restrictions, PG&E can't keep its lights on. Calls for change are escalating as San Francisco's power issues continue. 1 week after the widespread outage left 130,000 customers without power, another 6,000 were left in the dark.
The Sunset District is sick and tired of all these outages. Can PG&E just get its act together?
Wong has called for a public hearing with PG&E and is asking the city what can be done to increase accountability when it comes to delivering electricity.
My priorities will be, number one, being able to get answers for what happened. Why have we faced so many outages? It's ridiculous.
In the Richmond district, 7 large generators have been humming loudly since Monday because residents went 2 days without power.
It was frustrating, a huge inconvenience, especially with how high the rates are.
They're paying record high electricity rates and still losing power pretty regularly. PG&E keeps raising prices while services get worse. Some leaders are calling California to break up with PG&E and form a publicly owned utility.
And at Sea Spot Run in Alameda, they're celebrating a new law banning the declawing of cats.
Declawing is removing the whole bone. Cats are basically walking on their joints or like walking on their bones, which hurts them.
I think any law outlawing animal cruelty is important.
Fair enough, I understand that. I'm not pro animal cruelty, but California will ban declawing cats while allowing criminals to walk free after stealing $949 worth of merchandise. They'll protect cats, but not store owners.
Assembly Bill 1830 would add folic acid to corn masa flour products like tortillas. This comes after finding Latino communities have a higher risk of serious birth defects of the spine or brain.
The folic acid can cut that risk in half. Some people support it, others are concerned about the additives in their food. It sounds pretty racist, doesn't it?
And other new laws taking effect in the new year include capping the cost of insulin at $35 for most Californians, allowing car buyers 3 days to return their car to the dealer, and making Diwali a state holiday.
California is also capping insulin at $35. Actually a good policy. Car buyers get 3 days to return vehicles. That's going to be interesting. And California is making Diwali a state holiday. I've got no problems with recognizing different cultures, but California already has more state holidays than most states. Maybe focus on fixing the roads before adding more days off. America, California passed 800 laws in 2025 while billionaires flee over wealth tax and power grid failures, and none of those laws address any of the real issues in California. Sacramento doubled the budget in 10 years and apparently made everything worse. So their solution is 800 more laws to control what bags you use, what's in your tortillas, and whether your kids can use phones, while PG&E leaves hundreds of thousands of people in the dark and the fire department can't respond to emergencies. This isn't governance. This is a state-level control grid where politicians would rather regulate every aspect of your daily life than solve actual problems. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I won't catch ya in California.